African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation as of November 15, 2025. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. Units of the North Troop Group have taken more advantageous lines and positions as a result of active actions. They inflicted defeat on the formations of the Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements of Volfino and Sadki in the Sumy region. On the Kharkiv direction, defeat was inflicted on units of two Territorial Defense Brigades in the areas of the settlements of Volchansk and Rybalkino in the Kharkiv region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost more than 210 servicemen, 2 armored combat vehicles, 18 cars, an artillery gun, and a radio-electronic warfare station. 3 ammunition depots and 2 supply depots were destroyed. Units of the West Troop Group improved their position on the front line. They inflicted defeat on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized and assault brigades of the armed forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Ostrovsko, Shikivka, and Bogoslavka in the Kharkiv region. In the area of the settlement of Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region, assault detachments of the 6th Army continue to destroy the encircled enemy group. In the past 24 hours, 2 counterattacks were repelled by units of the 143rd Mechanized Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the 1st National Guard Brigade from the areas of the settlements of Kutkovka and Petrovka in the Kharkiv region, aimed at relieving the encircled enemy units. 10 militants were destroyed as a result of fire strikes on the Kupiansk direction. Up to 50 Ukrainian servicemen, 15 units of weapons and military equipment, including a British-made Snatch armored combat vehicle, 2 mortars, 3 radio-electronic warfare stations. Units of the South Troop Group took more advantageous lines and positions. They inflicted defeat on formations of 2 mechanized brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine and a Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements of Kramatorsk, Varvarovka, and Ivanopoli in the Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 230 servicemen, 4 armored combat vehicles, including a German-made Marder infantry fighting vehicle, 8 cars, and 6 field artillery guns, one of which is of Western production. A radio-electronic warfare station and 3 ammunition depots were destroyed. Units of the Center Troop Group continued advancing into the depth of the enemy's defense. They inflicted defeat on personnel and equipment of 2 mechanized, an airborne assault, 2 infantry brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, and 2 National Guard brigades in the areas of the settlements of Rusinyar, Sergivka, Suketskoye, Artemovka, Krasny Kut, Rodinskoye in the Donetsk People's Republic, Ivanovka, and Novopavlovka in the Dnipropetrovsk region. In the area of the settlement of Krasnoarmysk in the Donetsk People's Republic, assault groups of the 2nd Army continue to destroy encircled enemy formations in the western part of the city, the northwestern and eastern quarters of the Central District, as well as in the territory of the Western Industrial Zone. In addition, assault units have begun clearing the settlement of Rovna in the Donetsk People's Republic. 7 attacks were repelled by units of the 32nd Mechanized Brigade. Units of the East Group of troops, as a result of active actions, liberated the settlement of Yablikovo in the Zaporizhzhia region. Damage inflicted on the formations of the Mechanized Brigade, Assault Regiment of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and Territorial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements of Ternovato, Huliapol, Zaporizhzhia in the Zaporizhzhia region, and Pokrovsk in the Dnipropetrovsk region. The armed forces of Ukraine lost over 265 servicemen, 2 combat armored vehicles, 12 cars, and an artillery gun. Units of the Dnieper Group of troops inflicted damage on personnel and equipment of the Mechanized Brigade and Coastal Defense Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the areas of the settlements of Orkhov in the Zaporizhzhia region and Pridniprovsk in the Kherson region. The enemy lost up to 85 servicemen, a tank, a combat armored vehicle, 11 cars, and 9 electronic warfare stations. 3 ammunition depots and 2 supply depots were destroyed. Operational tactical aviation, strike unmanned aerial vehicles, missile troops, and artillery of the armed forces of the Russian Federation's troop groups inflicted damage on a military airfield, an energy infrastructure facility supporting the functioning of the Ukrainian military-industrial complex, a workshop for the production of unmanned boats, assembly and storage sites for long-range unmanned aerial vehicles, communication nodes of the Ukrainian Main Intelligence Directorate, temporary deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations and foreign mercenaries in 152 areas. Air defense means shot down 4 guided aerial bombs and 247 airplane-type unmanned aerial vehicles. Since the beginning of the special military operation, a total of destroyed 668 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 96,796 unmanned aerial vehicles, 636 anti-aircraft missile systems, 26,044 tanks and other combat armored vehicles, 1,611 multiple launch rocket system vehicles, 31,314 field artillery guns and mortars, 46,725 units of special military automotive equipment. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.